Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started for our afternoon session. Welcome back to all of you guys. Sawadee-kap. Welcome back to all of you guys. We're going to be learning walking meditation today. And first, what I'm going to do is just talk to you a little bit about it. It'll probably only take me about 10 minutes to teach it to you here. And then after we teach it here, then we're going to relocate and start doing walking meditation for our afternoon meditation. Rather than doing the seated, lying, or standing that we have been doing, you'll have the opportunity to do walking meditation today. So let me share this with you guys and help you guys to learn it, and then reflect on it, and then we can practice it. So walking meditation, it is breathing mindfulness meditation with all those same goals that I taught you for breathing mindfulness meditation, where you're eliminating craving, desire, attachment, and you're cultivating mindfulness or awareness of mind, and you're cultivating concentration. It's the same actual goals, eliminating certain unwholesome qualities and cultivating certain wholesome qualities. You can do walking meditation as a standalone practice, just all by itself. You can start and finish with walking meditation. You can do it prior to the other positions. Like sometimes I noticed in the past where my mind was overactive, I might have done walking meditation first, and then I switched and went to seated or lying or standing or something else like that. Or you can do seated, lying, standing first, and then you can switch to walking as well. So you can really mix it if you like. It's really up to you. The way that I used walking meditation is when the mind was overactive and having lots of random thoughts, and the last thing that I was thinking about was sitting down and actually meditating. The mind was maybe not interested in just being in one spot. There was a lot of energy in the mind. So I used walking meditation first to just kind of walk. And sometimes I would just do it as a standalone, maybe 30, 45 minutes, an hour. And I would just do it. That's it. Sometimes I would go to sit and I would be 5 minutes into my seated meditation, realize there was too much going on, and then I would switch to walking. So you can move it back and forth like this. You don't have to stay with just one position the entire time. You can switch it around based on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Instead of focusing on the breath, we're going to be focused on the eyes. So rather than breathing in through the nose and out through the nose like we do with seated, lying, or standing, instead you're going to be using the eyes to look down at the ground about 1 meter in front of you, or 3 feet, depending on which system you use of measurement. Either 1 meter or 3 feet in front of you, you're going to fixate through the eyes. You're not looking in front of you. You're not looking behind you. You're not looking to the sides in your peripheral vision. You're just looking straight down at the ground 1 meter in front of you. And that's your point of what you're doing with your mind, to fixate the mind on that fixed position as you're walking around. Your hands and your arms, I'm going to switch over to a wireless mic here so you guys can see what I'm doing with the teaching on this one. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, there we go. Good. Okay, so the hands and the arms, if I didn't have this mic in my hand, it's going to look like this. Let's switch over to that. We're trying something new here. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay. Okay. So for those of you guys online, we've got another camera here that we're using so that you guys can see everything. What I'm going to do is show you with my hands, what the way the hands are being held while you're walking. So once you're got your hands in place and you're fixating your eyes to the ground 1 meter in front of you, now what you're going to do is with your hands, usually I'm not going to have this mic in my hand, what you're doing is you're putting your foot flat on the floor, and then you're going to transfer the weight. Looking through the eyes, just 1 meter in front of me. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. And here we're walking in a counterclockwise direction. We're walking around in a circle in a counterclockwise direction. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. You might need that flat transfer for a period of time to kind of get used to it. And then afterwards, you would like to just kind of let it go out of the mind that you don't need it anymore. But when you first get going, you might need that flat, transfer, flat, transfer, flat, transfer, flat, transfer. And again, eventually you just let that go. Okay, so I'm going to put the mic down now, and I'm going to do it the way that I would normally do it without the mic. So what this is this is very intentional walking. You're very intentionally walking around, staring through the eyes, fixating the mind on the sight through the eyes. It's like I was talking yesterday about that piece of wood with a steel rod that you're grinding back and forth, and you're getting a deeper and deeper groove. And as your mind gets used to being in that groove, it's less likely to pop out. So it's the same thing as when you're walking around, you're trying to get the mind in this groove where it just stares at the ground. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past or anything on the sides. It's just the present moment. You're bringing the mind into the present moment through the eyes. And you're walking around slowly, very intentional walking. It's almost like a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Flat, transfer, flat, transfer, flat, transfer. So oftentimes when people are doing walking meditation, it can feel almost trance-like as you're going around in this circle for 20, 30 minutes, if that's how long you choose to do it for. It can feel almost trance-like because your mind gets so deep into this groove. And if you're noticing that, then wonderful. You might not notice that the first time or the second time, but as you do it more and more, you can notice that kind of groove that the mind gets into and feels almost trance-like. Any questions on this? You don't, yeah, you can just let the breath naturally breathe. You don't have to focus on the breath. You just focus through the eyes. Because remember, the mind can only do one thing at a time. So the mind's going to be focused through the eyes, fixating on that point, whatever that point is. Mm-hmm. So what we usually do, oh yeah, you have a question? Yep.
I was wondering, can you do it inside and outside with or without shoes?
Oh, yeah. So usually when you first start, I recommend doing it inside in a controlled environment like this without shoes, because then you can really feel the steps. But I know you have something going on with your foot. So if you need your inside shoes that you brought, feel free to use those. But if you start in a controlled environment like this and get used to that over several sessions, then over time, you might end up deciding to kind of relocate to maybe like a park. Here in Chiang Mai, we have a park in the southwest corner of the city, which has a nice walking trail. And that's nice because it introduces some more impermanence. Because here, everyone's going to be meditating and you're in a more controlled environment. Over there, you're going to get joggers, you're going to get people talking, you're going to get some kids playing, some pigeons, things like that. So now you do that for several times. And then eventually, if you like, you can even do it on the sidewalks in the street and stuff like this. I did this when I was doing walking meditation, and it really helped not only with training the mind for focus, concentration, memory, mindfulness, eliminating craving, but there were times when like I would hear tourists and they'd be like, "Mom, is that a ghost? That guy's in all white. Do you see what he's doing? He's like barely walking. He looks like a ghost, Mom. Who is that?" So like, yeah, I'd hear people gossiping about me. Some people were like, "Is that guy crazy? Like, what's he doing? He's staring at the ground. He's not even doing anything. He's just staring at the ground." So I would hear this like as I was meditating, and I had to ignore it. So that helps you with personal existence view, that there's people right there gossiping about you. So the Thai people, they know what I was doing. There were Thai people had any issues with that, but the tourists were kind of, saying these different things. And then sometimes I'd be on a street that didn't have a sidewalk, so there'd be motorbikes whizzing back and forth. So I needed to trust. I had to trust the Thai people that they weren't going to hit me because I was just staring at the ground. And any kind of fear that I might have had about death, I had to let that go. So I just stared at the ground, and I had trust and confidence that the Thai people wouldn't hit me. So it helped with that as well. But you'd like to kind of ratchet it up, right? Like start in a controlled environment, then go to like a semi environment, like a park. And then if you like, eventually go out on the street, and this can be really helpful for you. And if you're out on the street, of course, using shoes and stuff like that, or at a park, that's fine. But you like to do that real slow, intentional walking. And at first, you might use that flat transfer. But as you get going and you're in your groove, you like to let that fade away and just focus through the eyes. And I'm going to help you guys get started. If you guys would like to try this, I'm going to help you get started and get going, but then I'm going to step away and just let you guys do your meditation.
Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, would you guys like to give it a try? Okay. Ramos, can I have you use the camera one more time? Okay. You'll be okay to, afterwards, I'll help you get into meditation. Get this on. So the question Tina asked was, why is it counterclockwise? You guys are going to learn about this Dhamma wheel when if you go to the field trip that we go to on Friday. This Dhamma wheel has a lot of significance, and you'll learn about it on Friday. This Dhamma wheel turns in the counterclockwise direction. So that's why I teach in the counterclockwise direction, so that you can remember that this Dhamma wheel turns in the counterclockwise direction. Yeah, I'll teach you guys about this on Friday. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you guys would like to space yourself out, we're going to kind of like make a circle or kind of like an oval shape going this way. Like if you guys just kind of line up and walking this way, just kind of space yourself out. So we're just going to make one big oval kind of around. Okay. You sure you're okay to use that? Okay. Because Poon's here. Poon's done this with me. He might be willing to help you if you would like to practice. You're fine? Okay. Fine. Thank you, Poon. Okay. So if you guys make on the outer edge of the classroom. So yeah, Joel, if you go over there and face that way. So this line is going to face that way, and this line's facing this way. Okay. So as we get going and walking, if you're walking a bit slower, you might decide to move to the middle, where if you're walking a little bit faster, you might stay to the outside to have a bigger loop. So just walk at your own pace. There's not one specific pace, but by walking a little bit slower, it does help the mind slow down. Okay. So put your hands either in front of you or to the side or behind you, the way that I showed you. And then just take your eyes and look 1 meter in front of you, or 3 feet. And then just put your foot flat out in front of you. Just hold it right there for a second. Just kind of put it out flat in front of you. And not a real big step, but just kind of a small little step. And now, once your foot is flat on the ground, now weight. Okay. And then now put your other foot in flat in front of you, and then just transfer the weight. Put the foot flat in front of you, and then transfer the weight. It should be 2 intentional movements. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer. Flat, transfer, 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 flat, transfer. Okay, now you do this at your own pace. I'm just going to kind of slowly walk around, and where you guys need help, I'll just kind of politely help you guys. And for those of you guys online, if you guys would like to do this, I'm going to turn off the mic, and I'll just maybe turn off the camera as well. Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, if you guys would like to come back into the classroom, we'll just kind of have a little chat. Feel free to get your cushions if you need a chair or a cushion. Okay, so this is something new, something different. I thought I would do is give you guys some opportunity to ask any questions that you'd like to ask now that you have a chance to practice it. Is there anything you guys would like to ask questions about? Where are the questioners? This one's not turned on yet.
I want to talk about the attention, which is we focus on where we're walking. Just we've been talking about the multitasking, and what I found, you said about focusing on the view or vision or whatever. And when I saw you change your feet, you've been like staring feet or moving, like feeling the field or having this sensation of the movement or them changing the weight and putting flat and doing that movement. Just it's a little bit like multitasking, you know, because it's view, feeling, where's the focus?
Yeah, the focus should be through the eyes on the floor. The body can do more than one thing, right? Like I can rub the head, I can rub the stomach. Those are two different things that the body's doing, but the mind can only be in one place. So you would like the mind to be looking through the eyes, like fixated on that view through the eyes. The mind's going to want to go other places though, right? It's going to want to sense the feet. It's going to want to see that bag or that meditation cushion. It's going to want to hear that crack in the floor or hear a dog barking. The mind's going to wander, but each time it wanders, you would like to bring it back to the eyes, bring it back to the eyes, that view that you're having through the eyes.
But that kind of sensation, they're not also mindfulness? Like feeling the floor, changing carpet, feeling the carpet, how deep the carpet is.
Yeah, the mind is experiencing things through the six sense bases, is what we refer to it as: the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the bodily contact, which is what you're talking about. And then the mind itself is what we call a sixth sense base. This is something that I'll be teaching in the next retreat from the 21st through the 26th. But you would like the mind to only be focused on one thing. And in this case, you're focusing the mind through the eyes, which is the sense base of the eyes. But there's going to be contact through these other sense spaces. So the ear is going to hear something, the nose might smell something, the body might feel something through the feet. But what you're trying to do is trying to get the mind so focused and so concentrated that you can just focus through this one sense base of the eyes, through the eyes. Even though there's all this contact other places and the mind's going to want to go other places, you're training the mind to be disciplined and controlled and not allowing it to do that.
Okay. No more questions.
But it's going to want to do it. That's the challenge. It's going to want to go somewhere else.
Hello, yeah. So I've been hopping around on different temples here in Chiang Mai, and so I think this is my fourth walking guidance, and everyone's doing it differently. Mm-hmm. So wondering what if you have what Buddha said about the walking meditation, any sort of specific words? Just
Sure.
everyone's doing it kind of differently.
Sure. So while we have this large collection of teachings in the Pali Canon from the Buddha and 45 volumes of books, and we have a lot of what he taught, we don't have every single thing he taught. So not only do we not have exactly what he did for walking meditation, but we don't even have exactly what he did for loving kindness meditation. But the way that you cut through this impermanence is you find a teacher that you feel is either enlightened or very close to it. And there's ways to determine whether someone is enlightened or very close to it. Whatever they're doing, that's what led to their enlightenment. So that's what's going to lead to your enlightenment. So I can assure you that this walking meditation will accomplish what it is that I shared with you, and the loving kindness meditation will eliminate anger and all those things that I mentioned with you. So we don't have 100% of what the Buddha taught, and that's one of the reasons why you need a teacher. So what we have in the Pali Canon where he talks about saying like you should do walking meditation kind of thing, but we don't have exactly his instructions of how to do it, how he did it. Mm-hmm.
It's normal to feel sleepiness when you just stare at the floor in front.
Yeah, this is something we talked about yesterday, particularly after lunch. If you've just had lunch and then you start meditating, you can feel sleepy. So there's two options when you feel sleepiness during meditation, is you can just stop your meditation and go to sleep because the mind and the body need some sleep. Or you might switch to a walking meditation, because walking or standing meditation can help you to stay more awake. But if you're getting sleepy in walking meditation, just get some sleep. But those are the two options that you have, is either switching position to standing or walking, or just get some sleep. Mm-hmm. Anything else you guys would like to ask about? Mm-hmm.
I felt my eyes were quite burning. So I don't know. And then I started like this, doing this, and that made it difficult.
I don't suspect that that's from the walking meditation. It might just be that your eyes are dry. Maybe you need a little bit of eye drops or something. But is this burning eyes, is it permanent?
No.
No, right? So yeah, you can make some decisions, right? Well, you should know 100%. Is it permanent or impermanent?
Oh, yeah.
Is it permanent or impermanent?
No.
It's impermanent, right?
Yeah.
So I don't suspect that's from the walking meditation at all. But if you need eye drops or something like that, you can always do that.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so something I'll share just to kind of wrap things up a bit, because we've got some folks coming in for Gong meditation, and you guys are welcome to stick around for the Gong meditation if you like, is that whenever you try something new, the unenlightened mind will typically reject it, because just like I mentioned that it craves permanence, the unenlightened mind does not like impermanence. That's another way to say that the mind craves permanence, is it does not like impermanence. It doesn't like change. It doesn't like when things are changing. So whenever you introduce something new to your life practice, it will typically reject it right off the bat because it's new and it doesn't feel comfortable. It's never done it before. It just doesn't want to do the work to figure out how to do this thing. So if you did this for the first time and you're like, I just kind of don't really like it, do it some more. Do it a lot more. Train your mind to be peaceful and joyful no matter what. By the time you get to enlightenment, you won't even have the slightest dislike in the mind. Your mind will be peaceful, calm, serene, and content with joy. No more anger, sadness, frustration, irritation, annoyance, guilt, shame, fear, boredom, loneliness, shyness, resentment, jealousy, displeasure. Even the slightest dislike won't be in the mind by the time you get to enlightenment. Even the slightest ickiness. So if you're doing something like this and you're like, I just don't like it, I don't feel comfortable, then you should do that more to train the mind to kind of experience this peace and this joy, no matter whether you're sitting on the floor, whether you're walking, doing meditation. Now, if it's something like going to a brothel, right, or snorting cocaine or something, you're not interested in training your mind to do those things. Those are unwise things. But if it's something like this that is wholesome, oftentimes the mind will reject it because it doesn't like change. It doesn't like impermanence. So each time you do it, your mind will get better and better at it. And you're probably going to need these meditations at different times. So we have seated, lying, standing, and walking. You're not going to be able to sit and do seated meditation all the time, because of the universal truth of impermanence. So there was a time where I got in a motorbike accident and I couldn't sit and I couldn't cross my legs. All I could do is lay in a bed for a couple of weeks. So I needed lying meditation, right? So you're going to need these different positions, because as the body changes, as it ages, as you get injuries and things like this, you're going to need different positions at different times. So rather than allow the mind to get fixated and crave and cling to one body position like seated, it's best to kind of introduce some impermanence into your meditation practice and mix it up a bit. Okay, so if you felt uncomfortable doing this, do it some more, do it some more, do it some more. Keep training your mind to get comfortable with it. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be starting off with chanting and meditation, just like we do each morning. Then we're going to move into a talk on what is Gamma and how does it affect me. Then we're going to be discussing what is merit. And then we're going to take our lunch break. It'll probably be an hour and a half tomorrow, depending on your questions, depending on what questions you guys have. I don't know, right? You guys have lots of questions. So depending on your questions, we'll have an hour and a half lunch break. And then in the afternoon, we have a special activity that we're going to be sharing. And in the afternoon, I'm also going to be sharing with you how to receive continued support on the path to enlightenment beyond this course. And at some point, probably tomorrow afternoon, we'll talk about the field trip that we're going to do on Friday, the tour, which everybody's invited to, even if you didn't attend this class and this course. If you have friends or family or any of you guys that are coming here for the first time now, if you would like to come to the tour, that's going to be on Friday. We're going to be meeting here at 8:45 in the morning. But I will talk about that more tomorrow. Okay, so yes, question? Yeah, we're going to come back here. We're going to get back here around 4:30 usually is when we get back. But since it's busy season, it might be as late as 5. But you can also go with us and then leave at any point as well, because there's transportation that you can leave at any point if you have an appointment or something. Yeah. Okay, so thank you all for your questions. Thank you for your dedication to learning and practicing the teachings of the Buddha. If you'd like to stick around for Gong meditation, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your day. Sawadee krap. Sawadee krap. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy your meditation. Look forward to seeing you online and answering any questions that you might have. Thank you so much.